You know, life is like a garden that's full of opportunities in the form of these apples. After entering it, you grab one. You take it close to your mouth. But as you're about to eat it, then you find another better looking apple. So you drop it. You go forward. You take it. But again, you think to yourself, what if there is even better one ahead? So you drop the one, you keep looking in search of a better one, you're going, ignoring all the other apples. But then you realize that you reach the end of the garden. Now there is no way back home. You are only left with regrets. And when you have regrets, it's very difficult to feel happy. So, this is my question. Are you happy? The first time when I remember I was regretful was in my primary school. I caught a bus and went to visit my aunt's house. So on my way, I mentally prepared myself dozens of times to ask the driver to stop in the right station. I was really shy. 100 meters left, finally, but I'm silent. 50 meters left. Come on, man, you can do it, Shokhrukh, let's ask him. I encourage myself. But now I'm silent. 10 meters left. Squeezing my hands, I finally summoned up courage and opened my mouth and said, nothing. This is how I missed my station and went back home on foot in winter for hours. I suffered, and at that moment, I promised myself that I would change, that I would become a better person. So this is how my self-help journey has begun. I signed up for martial art classes. I started following all the gurus I was told to follow. I read book after book after book. I promised that I would change. I repeated affirmations in front of the mirror saying that I'm happy, I'm powerful, I am inevitable. And here I am now, a teacher of 2,000 students with a band 8.5 in IELTS and 1,419 in SAT, and also role model for some students receiving tons of messages of love, inspiration, and respect. This is it, I told myself. This is what my life had been missing. Finally, I am happy. Thank you. Well, you know, at least this is what I wanted others to think. I was the unhappiest person on earth. Despite all the achievement and praise I got, I still felt I was not enough. As if I was failing at life, failing at becoming better, more charismatic, more good-looking, and on and on and on and on. And I thought, maybe the problem is my surroundings, so I decided to move out from home at the age of 18 and to live in a flat for 1 month. But nah, it did not help at all. So feeling confused, I went out. And with this fog in mind, I started rambling around the streets of Tashkent until I came across the homeless. So I always wondered, why do people get into such a terrible state of life? And more importantly, are they happy with the way they are living? So out of pure curiosity, I stopped and asked, sir, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm really curious. How much money do you make out of this sack of bottles? And he's like, taking out all the money and counted, which I did, 30,000 sums. And I'm like, is that enough for you to live in streets of Tashkent? I mean, why do you look so happy and content? Look at his smile. That's simple, boy. Today I have something to eat. And do you see that bus stop over there? It's my turn to sleep on that bench. You know, it's warm there. Wow. He then went on to the nearby bakery and bought 2 buns, one of which was for me. Later, he bought 2 ice creams, and again, one of them was for me. And I did not even ask for it. What a paradox, right? The homeless had everything, and I had nothing. His hands were dirty, but pure enough to share 2 pieces of happiness. But still, I didn't understand what was the one thing that made him so happy in this life. So after a year of questioning myself, I finally made up my mind to test this out personally. So I approached my mom. Mom, do you know how much I love you? And she's like, what do you want? I don't have money. No, Mom, I'm being serious. I want to stay homeless for 24 hours in the streets of Tashkent without anything. No money, no telephone, no connections, no food, just me and my thoughts. Well, she cried. They didn't let me to do so, but I kept going, and finally I persuaded her to embark on this challenge. So 1 week prior to this challenge, I started preparing myself. I did not shave, and I slept on this floor at nights so that I can get immersed into the atmosphere of staying homeless. I didn't take a bath. I even put a cast on my leg. I prepared these dirty clothes so that I would look like real homeless. And finally, that day came, 7th of May. I'm out there in the streets. I approached a random bus driver and asked him whether he would give me a free ride, to which he responded, "Look at yourself, pig. You stink," and drove away. That hurt me. But I was expecting that. Why would they let me in, such a dirty guy, you know? And after having learned a lesson, I then hopped into another bus without asking any permission. And one woman approached me, and she's like, "What happened, boy?" I explained the situation, but I lied to her, saying that I had arguments with my parents, and that's why I ran away from home. And then she's like, "Your eyes are telling the difference. I mean, look at you. You look such a good and cute boy. I can't believe that this thing happened to you." And she's like, "You know, my son is in prison now. My daughter is a drug addict. So I don't want you end up in the same place. I can adopt you as a son, so please be my son. Here is some money, and here's my contact number. Call me whenever you can." Wow, I was speechless. And it is the time when I started to understand what kind of how much of a blessing it is to have people around to truly care about you. Then I went out of the bus. I was hungry. I entered a random fast food restaurant and asked for food. And they gave me leftovers, pasta, and a bottle of water. And what's even more interesting is that the guy sitting next to me overheard our conversation, and then he's like, "Sir, come on, take my seat. I have a hamburger here, here's water. Do you want something else? Let me order it." And then another woman approached me, and without any words, he put some money into my pocket. 3 more people to care about me. Unfailing quality of unconditional love. And you know, from then on, everything started to seem more beautiful in life. Even the pasta, which was very oily, which I would never and ever eat at home, seemed to be so delicious. Even the bus stop bench there, on which I slept at nights, was so soft. Everything that I didn't have and had started to meaning sense, started to bring me lots of satisfaction. So, you know, the problem with our society is that it is overly focused on unrealistically high expectations. Be healthier, be better than the rest, be the smartest. Everyone is telling everyone that we are all going to be successful. But this fixation on the positive only serves to remind of who we are not, of what we lack, and of what we should have been, but failed to be. Repeating affirmations in front of the mirror and saying that I'm happy just reminded me that I was not. After all, have you ever seen a truly happy person standing in front of the mirror and saying that he's happy? I guess no. So let me get back to my question. How happy are you at this moment on a scale of 1 to 10? And let me guess. Is it around 7? Well, in 1980s and 90s, when psychologists started to study happiness, they asked this same question from thousands of people. And what they found was intriguingly exciting, but at the same time, very boring. Pretty much everyone said 7. The homeless coming up to you and asking money, well, for bread, 7. A millionaire making millions of dollars, 7. Well, you know what? We people tend to chase after that imagined 10. And we tell ourselves, if I just have this thing of a little bit more, then I would get happy. But our mind will always find enough things to get slightly disappointed. So when passing through that garden of life, maybe, just maybe, instead of searching for all the best apples. We just have to take the good-looking one, ignore all the other ones, and take it close to our eyes, our mouth, and enjoy the taste of it. Enjoy that mediocrity. Thank you.